Breaking news. Please stand by for another C2C World News Now current event. Hello, today is Wednesday, and this is the 5th day of October 2016.
That's when the first of the shells hit Aleppo University.
The people of Aleppo are no strangers to shelling. They know to run for cover. Unfortunately, not everyone had the time.
One student, Majid, was unlucky enough to be caught in the first blast. This is where he was standing, and this is where the blood trail begins. We followed it all the way to the end. Obviously panicked, he tried to run away, tried to find cover. He ran behind this car and bled. They've covered most of it with sand, but Majid dropped his textbook here. He was a second-year student, and today was the last day of studies that he would ever have. He died a few hours after the attack.
We went to one of the hospitals to which victims of this attack had been taken. We wanted to speak to the survivors. This is 15-year-old Rama. She'd lost an eye.
I was standing when the explosion happened. I felt stunned and fell to my knees. I could feel something in my back. I collapsed, and some guys came and took me to the hospital.
In all, 5 students were killed today. 5 more in critical condition in hospital, and 17 have been released with minor injuries. Nevertheless, from the fact that almost all of the 11 blasts happened inside the campus of the university, tells us that this was a pre-planned attack and not the first time that rebels have targeted Aleppo University.
RT's Murad Gazdiev reporting there. Now, a Syrian champion swimmer and her 12-year-old brother were also among Aleppo civilians killed by the shelling. Their deaths were reported by Britain's The Independent. The newspaper claimed that government forces and Russian planes were to blame for the missiles that killed them. However, some readers pointed out that the shelling was actually carried out by militant forces.
Katie Forster finds story of killed siblings. No mention they were killed by rebels and live in West Aleppo.
Article fails to mention they were killed by rebel shelling of West Aleppo. Instead mentions Russian airstrikes on East Aleppo.
Now, lazy update to Independent article. Is it that hard to check and see swimmer killed on government-held side of Aleppo?
Well, in the wake of the outcry, The Independent decided to update the whole article, but just with a sentence. For example, we'll show you what the paper came up with here. It does mention that the shelling was actually carried out by rebels, citing claims made by a number of commentators, but adds that none of them could actually be verified. Well, a reporter from the Aleppo district that was shelled also stated that The Independent got its facts wrong. He shared his views on the tragedy with the New York Daily News, but that interview was heavily redacted, so we went and found the journalist ourselves.
The New York Daily News published my contribution, but the paragraph was removed. I don't think personally that was a very serious editorial decision, probably. I'm still waiting an explanation. This particular case was really documented, and it happened in a neighborhood where I come from, and I talked with eyewitnesses, which was they all confirmed that this was specifically done by rebel shelling, and the Independent article failed to mention that, and it tried to shoot the blame on the other side. So that was very unacceptable by the Independent article, and the article was had other also material mistakes, factual mistakes. There is a general atmosphere of a media bias, or let's call it restricting the narrative to certain trends, to certain news trends. I think that's the general issue I see through the experience that I went through.
This has been a C2C World News Now current event. Stay safe, everyone.